Chapter 2. Blue don't rush nothing. It sit with it. It think on it. Feel on it. Go back over it again just to make sure it ain't missed nothing the first time. While everybody else moving on, Blue's still trying to understand what just happened and why it felt the way it did. Blue is depth, not loud, not dramatic for no reason, just deep. The kind of deep that don't always show on the surface, but it's always moving underneath. If blue is your color, you feel everything, even the stuff you don't say. And a lot of times, you don't say it. Not because you don't want to, but because it's hard to explain something you still trying to understand yourself. So you go inward. You think, you replay, you analyze tone, energy, little changes most folks overlook. You don't just hear what people say, you hear what they mean, sometimes what they don't say at all. The light in blue. At your best, you peaceful, not boring, not quiet in a small way, peaceful in a way that settles a whole room. You bring calm where things feel messy. You don't make situations bigger than they are. You help people slow down enough to actually feel what's going on. Folks feel understood around you, not judged, not rushed, understood. You listen different, you care different. You don't force people to open, you just make it safe enough that they want to. And that kind of energy, you can't fake that. The shadow in blue, but feeling everything can get heavy. Blue can get stuck inside its own head. You overthink, you replay conversations. You question yourself even when you ain't the one who did something wrong. Instead of saying how you feel, you sit with it. Instead of addressing it, you try to understand it first. And sometimes that turns into silence. People think you good and you not, but you ain't say nothing. So now you carrying feelings nobody even know exist. And after a while, that weight start turning into distance. Not loud distance, quiet distance. Blue in love, you love deep, not fast, not careless. But when you love somebody, you feel them. You notice everything. How their voice sound when they tired, how they act when something bothering them, how they shift when something ain't right. You don't need big gestures. You need emotional connection, real connection. But you also need safety. If you don't feel safe, you pull back. You stop sharing, stop opening, start keeping things to yourself again. And the person you with might not even catch it right away, because your changes ain't loud, they subtle, they big. Blue compatibility, the three that reach you, blue plus yellow. Yellow bring light into your world. It help you laugh, loosen up, stop carrying everything so heavy. You ground yellow, help it slow down and actually feel what it be trying to skip over. This can feel balanced, unless yellow don't want to go deep when you need it to. Blue plus pink, pink makes you feel safe. Like you don't gotta overthink being loved. You protect pink's softness, and pink helps you open up without fear. This can feel like home, long as y'all don't avoid hard conversations just to keep the peace. Blue plus black. Black understands your silence. It don't pressure you to explain yourself. You feel seen without being exposed. But both of y'all can get too quiet, too deep, and not say what really need to be said. Blue and money. You careful with money. You think before you move. You don't like making decisions that feel uncertain or rushed, but sometimes you think too long. You wait for the right time, the right plan, the right feeling. And by the time you're ready, the opportunity might have already passed. It ain't that you can't build. It's that you don't like moving without feeling sure first. When blue is hurt, you don't always show it. You go inward. You replay everything. Try to understand what went wrong, what changed, what you might have missed. Sometimes you take on more blame than you should, not because it's yours, but because you're trying to make sense of it. And instead of expressing that hurt, you just get quiet, the growth of blue. You get stronger when you realize this. You don't have to understand everything before you speak on it. You allowed to say, this hurt, even if you can't fully explain why yet. You don't need perfect words, you just need honesty. If blue is your color, you ain't distant, you deep. You ain't quiet because you got nothing to say. You quiet because you still feeling it. And you ain't hard to love. You just need to feel safe enough to stay open while you being loved.